Hello, Scorpio. It is noisy where I am today. As you can hear, there's a plane being very loud. I have my window open because it's hot. I know it's noisy and it's not the best situation, but it's really hot here. It's actually, I'm lying. It's not really hot. I've lived in much hotter places, but for here it's hot and it's kind of humid today, which is also sort of unusual where I live. So it's not that comfortable to have the window closed. So I've had to deal with loudly chirping birds, screaming, yelling, airplanes, cars, and trains banging around. So it is noisy here, and I hope you can hear me just fine. Today, my darlings, it is time for you to have your August reading. 2021, it's an exciting time. I think things are going to change. That's because I'm completely deluded and optimistic to a fault. But sometimes when we think like that, it actually creates positive energy in the world, and then it creates change. So I'm going to stick to that. These have already been very, very well shuffled off camera, so you do not have to worry. They are well combined. As you can see, I'm using a double deck. I love to do that if you don't know me. And I am going to give you a nice little simple 12 card reading, and we'll see where we get. Oh, nice way to start. Lovely. Oh, I haven't seen Temperance in a while. Temperance is very welcome once in a while. Oh, this is a very different reading than what I've been getting. Very pleasant to have something fresh and new. Oh, my King of Pentacles. I saw him once today, but none of... Oh, maybe this card. A couple cards, but mostly this is a lot of... This has not appeared yet today. This is a very lovely and fresh reading. I'm liking. Okay, darling Scorpios. So you are a water sign, and cups relate to water signs. So there are no actual people here other than our King of Pentacles, and he is not a water sign, so this is not you. Perhaps it's somebody in your life. So let's kind of unpack this situation. This is a lovely reading, a very, very good reading, in fact. But let's attack the less great stuff. There's nothing bad here, but, you know, some things are better than others, as in all things. The moon. The moon is a card that sometimes there's some confusion about something. There's some mystery surrounding something. Maybe there's something you're trying to get to the bottom of and you don't quite know what's what, and you're trying to figure out all the facts. That can sometimes be the case with the moon. The moon is about our subconscious and what's going on in there. So, you know, sometimes we're worried or something like that. This card isn't really about worry per se, but, you know, when we've got a lot of stuff going on in our subconscious, sometimes it bubbles up in dreams, and sometimes we have nightmares and things like that. And when those things are happening, sometimes we'll get the moon, because sometimes it's our brain trying to make sense of something. Sometimes it's we're thinking about things all the time that are related to the thing we're trying to figure out. Now, this card is one of my favorite cards. A lot of people don't like it, but I love the card, the Seven of Cups. It's a card about choices, and maybe this is where your mystery lies. Maybe you're trying to figure out what the best course of action is here with making a decision where you're trying to pick out the bad stuff from the good stuff. Excuse me. On top of everything else, I have allergies, and I should close the window so I'm not breathing the pollen outside, but of course it's warm inside, so I would rather have the window open, and then I'm choking on the pollen. So there's no winning. You know what I'm saying? In the cards, there is winning. In my life, sometimes there's not a lot of winning. So anyway, here we go. The Seven of Cups, it's about all these choices. And if you look at the different cups, there are some different things that you can choose here. And some of them are very desirable, like a lovely laurel leaf and some jewels and a sand castle. How fun is that? But then there are other things like a head and an iguana thing and a snake. So you must choose carefully. I love this illustration. I think it displays exactly how major some of these choices can be in a hilarious way. So sometimes the choice is blatantly obvious, like in these cards, and sometimes it is not quite so obvious. I imagine the head is not meant to be a severed head. I imagine it's meant to be the choice of a person over, achievement with the laurel leaf, or wealth as in the jewels, something of that nature. But just saying that these are very different choices, and sometimes we do have to choose one thing over another, and it all requires some thought. So maybe you have some decision you're trying to make and it isn't completely clear yet, but that's okay, because you can research it, you can check it out, you can wait a little while, because often time will tell what the right answer is. It's not always a decision you have to make this instant, which is thankful. Maybe the decision has to do with a love relationship, because this Ace of Cups is the beginning of something you're passionate about. Now, it does not have to be love. It could be a hobby that you want to do. Maybe you want to become a gardener and grow beautiful vegetables or flowers or something. Maybe that's something you've always wanted to do, never had the time. Now suddenly you have a little bit of time, or a bigger piece of land that you could do such a thing. Maybe you want to take up dancing or some kind of physical pursuit, or you want to start a social group where you're going to do something together once a week, something that is something you're passionate about, something you're going to get excited about, something that... Now, this is just at the idea stage. You're not actually enacting this yet. It's just something that's in your mind. But this cup also can often mean the beginning or the thought. Maybe you've got a little crush on somebody. Maybe it's this guy here, the King of Pentacles. My boyfriend's the King of Pentacles. Maybe you've got a potential boyfriend who's the King of Pentacles too. Or a girl who's the King of Pentacles. Typically, women are not the king, but sometimes they are. Maybe you've got the chick who's the head of the corporation, or she's just very male in her approach and very powerful in the way she goes about her world. But the king and queen are both very similar in the way they do things. They're good at investing in things. They're good at planning. They're good at carrying things out in a particular order. They take good care of the things that they have, and they cultivate anything that is an investment in people, money, health. These are areas that are very important to them. They're very earthy. They're earth signs. They are, I can't even think today, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorns. Mine is a Capricorn. I also have a daughter who's a Capricorn. So I'm very, very familiar with the earth signs and how they function in life. But you, being a water sign, are very different in your approach. You're very intuitive, and your cup flows over with love and compassion. And now, mind you, these guys are quite compassionate also. They're very concerned with other people and their feelings and their emotions and things like that, as are you, because you're very intuitive, typically, my Scorpios, and very sensitive. And, when you guys strike back, sometimes it gets pretty ugly. I won't say that always happens, but when it does, Scorpions are quite good at striking back when needed. So this could be a love interest for you. It's possible. This is a potential person in your life. If it's not a love interest, perhaps it's your dad, perhaps it's your friend, perhaps it's your brother, perhaps it's somebody that you're going to do something you're passionate about with. It doesn't have to be a lover. It could be maybe your dad is starting a garden and you've always wanted to be able to garden, so you're going to go over and hang out with him and spend some time, and you guys will grow stuff together and provide everybody, both of your families with stuff. Maybe it's your brother, and you're going to be doing a project with him, or your best friend, or whoever it is. But when I see it next to the overflowing cup, I definitely think there's some kind of a passionate interest, and it is often a love interest. So I'm just going to throw that out there, especially when we also have this card, the Eight of Wands, which can simply mean something is going to happen fast and furious, especially when I see the Chariot right below. So this can mean some speedy activity, some hugely fast moving action that's going to come in, and you're going to grab hold and do something and make something happen. But we also call this the arrows of love sometimes, because it can often be a very fast moving love relationship coming into your life, and it's very, very exciting and passionate and wonderful. And so these two cups are together here, so that could be the case. Now, the reason it's sort of indefinite is because I'm reading for many people. This is a very general reading. So for one of you, it'll be one thing, for another, it'll be another thing. But, the common themes will emerge, and then you can figure out how it plays in your own life. And then we've got temperance. Now, temperance often marches in when we're doing a little too much of something naughty, like drinking too much or eating too much or whatever. Temperance is always about walking the middle line, or if we're too extreme in anything that we think or our behavior, publicly or even behind the scenes. Temperance is, I always get temperance because me walking the middle line is a joke. I'm an extremist. I'm not good at this at all. Everything I do to the extreme. So it's kind of like I get temperance constantly, and I know it's a reminder to not drink too much wine, to not, eat too much, to not do this, that, or the other thing, to, maybe keep my mouth shut once in a while about certain things. Just everything. Don't burn yourself out with, like if you're the kind of person like I am where you just don't ever want to sleep and stuff like that, then, you can burn yourself out. When I see it next to the arrows of love, maybe it's don't let yourself get too carried away too quickly. Maybe use a little bit of good sense. You guys are not terrible at that, Scorpio, but, it's still always something to keep in mind because you guys are also very passionate. And sometimes it's easy to fall in love and fall really, really hard. So just use a little caution. I know that totally sucks when we're talking about love. You just want to fall into it and, be immersed like crazy. But, just use your head along with your heart. That's always a good plan. So we've covered all of this, but we haven't covered the Chariot. And the Chariot is a fabulous card. The Chariot is all about directing your own life, and you've got all this amazing stuff on the horizon. So you definitely have to bear in mind that you have control. You have control over all of these things. You get to make the decisions. You get to decide how quickly you go into something. You get to decide how to direct your passions. You get to decide the person that you get to hang out with. You get to choose all of it. And I'm sort of focusing on that today with most of these readings. It's like I want to give you a practical takeaway. I'm not a practical person, but a practical takeaway for your reading so that as you go through your month, you can kind of think about this and put something into practice. So as much as I'm going to say temperance is here, I don't really want this to dim your happiness too much or to make you so practical you can't have any fun. But at the same time, I do think you just remember as your heart's overflowing like this, just remember, investigate what you can, do the things that are safe if you're a young person, say, and you're not used to having feelings this intense. Don't go off with the person that you don't know. I mean, be careful, meet in a public place, all that jazz. I know it sounds really old-fashioned, but actually, it's not old-fashioned because in the old days, we never worried about stuff like that. So, but now there are more reasons to. Maybe it was just as bad in the old days. I'm not sure. But just be careful. A lot of people meet in weird ways now, and a lot of people are only out for one thing or something really unsavory. So just be careful and sensible. And I shouldn't say just a young person because there are older people who are 10 times stupider than the young people. So whoever you are, be careful of the potential dangers. Not everybody's nice, decent, good, reasonable, or even sane. So let's just bear that in mind. So we've got the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is about going within, meditating, thinking about what you're doing, and following your intuition. This seems to be an emerging theme. Okay, so instead of being a total pill and telling you you can't have any fun because of temperance, instead of that, I'm going to tell you to follow your intuition. Just really listen to that inner voice, because that inner voice is quite special and magical and knows you better than anybody because it's a part of you. So do follow this. And just as an aside, the Hanged Man can also be about sacrifice. Perhaps you're the type of person who really sacrifices for those around you, really works hard to give them what they need and want and that sort of thing. sometimes that there's an element of that here. Perhaps your King of Pentacles has that going on, because they often are like that. They are people who care about others and really, really go the distance for them. Now, this card is lovely, so we're going to read that one last. This is a card that I actually love. Some people call this the wounded warrior, because as you can see, this person, probably you, has been through some stuff, has a few battle scars, and is maybe a little defensive. But with the defensiveness, which is not necessarily unwarranted, and with whatever you've gone through in the past, you're still doing your thing. You're still in action. Nothing's going to stop you. And that is the most important thing about this card. This card is, this person is working in action, doing whatever they're supposed to be doing, and even a few battle scars are not going to stop this person. You're going to be just fine. You've taken whatever has happened in your life and you've made it part of the fabric of your character. Okay, things are not always easy, but you're not ruined over it. Like, some people become really undone and they just have a lot of trouble functioning. That's not you, according to this. You can bounce back in a very, very positive way. So this is actually a very good card in my estimation. This is the card I hate most of all in the deck. The reason I hate it is because it never makes sense. At least not in my readings, for my life, my friends, my clients, anybody that I've never heard. And I have asked on these readings that I filmed, every time the card comes up, I say, let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if this does resonate with you and the card does prove to be true for you. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Nobody ever does. So, I mean, this is the one card in the deck I just never really find it to ring true, ever. So what the meaning of the card is this card shows somebody stealing some swords from some kind of an encampment or a small city or whatever. It's like a caravan, bunch of tents. He's stealing the swords. He's looking behind him. He's doing something deceptive. So the implication is that somebody's going to do something deceptive to you, or they are doing something deceptive to you. Some people read this as somebody's having an affair. Some people read it as gossip. A robbery is coming. The actual original, one of the original Rider-Waite meanings that, is from way back, is failed plans. Okay, so if the meaning is failed plans, then that could be anything. That could be your lunch plans fell through. That could be, you were trying to put something together and it didn't happen. So I don't have an issue with that definition of this card. I have failed plans. Maybe that is the case when this card comes up and I just haven't made the connection. Okay? But if that's the meaning of the card, I can relate to that a lot better than all the other ones, because when I get this card, I never discover anything that's going on. Or maybe I'm just so oblivious to everything that I don't notice that something is going on and I'm being deceived constantly, because I get the card a lot and it seems to come up all the time. So I'm just going to give you that and be honest about it. I've heard people read this card where they say this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Oh, no, be very wary because stuff's going on behind your back. I just haven't found this to be true. I'm sure things do go on behind our back sometimes. It's just that I'm not finding the card to be accurate. So, like I say, if I'm wrong, let me know. This card is about you looking at your past and your future. And when I see this and this and this, this feels very action-oriented and very positive to me, because you are deciding what to do next. You're already in action. You're doing what you need to do, but you're reflecting and you're looking forward and backward and trying to see what the next step is. And then you've got this. Something's coming in fast and furious, or you're going to make something happen fast and furious perhaps. But you are reflecting and you're not doing things all willy-nilly. You're actually planning. Maybe your King of Pentacles is not a person that you're going to meet, but maybe your King of Pentacles is a facet of your personality, which is the planning, the thinking things out, the follow through, the doing one task at a time to create a positive result. Very exciting stuff, very productive. And then last but not least, more Pentacles, because we've got our King of Pentacles. We've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is a wonderful card. It's a card of family and being surrounded by family, long life, comfort in financial matters, comfort in health matters. Very positive about completion, being surrounded by loved ones. Sometimes the card of inheritance. So whatever's going on, it's very, very good, very positive, very strong. And this overall is a very nice reading. So the takeaway is there are lots of good things coming in. Do enjoy whatever's happening and just follow your intuition about things. And I think you're going to be fantastic. So you have a wonderful rest of the month, and I hope to talk to you soon.